Welcome. You're officially locked into Persuasions of Comfort. I'm your host, Naon. I want to give a big shout out to all the listeners out there who've been tuning in since day one. The love and support is 100% greatly appreciated. Let's get it. The topic of discussion for today revolves around the bridge from vision to aligned action. This is the final episode number 5 in the series that I call Becoming by Design. There's usually a quiet moment after stillness, after listening, after the vision begins to take shape, when you realize it's time for you to make moves. Not dramatically, not urgently, not all at once, but intentionally, one step at a time. Over the past 4 episodes, we've slowed down enough to notice a few things. Number one, we've talked about how stillness changes the way you decide. In episode 2, we've explored how to navigate the space between stillness and stagnation. In episode 3, we focused on understanding how clarity helps to identify what matters most. In episode 4, we've given ourselves permission and allowed vision to emerge before demanding a plan. And now we're standing at the threshold of the final episode in the series. In this episode, I'm going to be talking about what are the first steps, the first aligned steps that you need to take without betraying the clarity that you've earned. So let's start with key point number 1. Start smaller than your ego wants. When vision appears and the goals are clear, the temptation to act and take big leaps is natural. Perhaps you're the type to make a big announcement and post your moves on socials to gain the motivation you need to follow through. You want everyone to know that it's your time to shine. I find that unnecessary. Everyone doesn't need to know your every move. I believe in executing in silence with precision. Aligned purpose rarely requires a spectacle. Start small, scale smart. See, the benefits about starting small and scaling smart is that the small steps protect the clarity. They allow you to test direction without overwhelming yourself. You'll find it easier to make adjustments and track your progress over a period of time. As an engineer, one of the philosophies that I like to move with is to code a little and test a lot. Perhaps you may be familiar with the saying, measure twice and cut once. Same concept. The goal is to move forward with confidence and precision. And when you're moving with this mindset, you're moving with humility. Your ego naturally takes a sidestep. You can ensure that you've been taking precaution in preventing unwanted distractions from influencing your end goal. And most of all, you don't skip the necessary steps that are required of you along the way. Now, the disadvantages of starting small and scaling smart is that it can feel underwhelming. You put so much time, effort, energy, and you're not moving at the pace that you want. You have to move with patience. Naturally, you might begin to worry that the things that you're doing are not significant enough. They don't matter enough because you're not moving fast enough. Even though you are making progress, subconsciously, you'll try to convince yourself that it's not good enough and you'll start skipping steps. You'll start taking bigger leaps. And with this mindset creeping up, the urge to rush through the process becomes inevitable. The problem with lacking patience and rushing through the process can lead to a missed key in lessons or opportunities for growth. I mean, we all know the saying. Slow progress is better than no progress. Slow money is better than no money. Imagine if all the folks that you invited into your journey started to keep tabs on you, judging your every move, critiquing all your actions and decisions. Life under a microscope at all times. It's not wavy. I mean, unless you were born in the spotlight, that's a little bit different. You have folks out here who are fighting for privacy and peace, and you're doing the complete opposite, begging for attention from people you barely even know. That hunger for attention might lead you to feel intimidated in order to meet the expectations that you set for yourself and what others are looking for you to achieve. So here's a practical example. If your emerging vision is a career shift, your first step most definitely should not be to quit your job. First, start off with a conversation. Then start learning new skills. Begin exploring new opportunities. Tap into passion projects. And especially when you're exploring new opportunities, the number one thing to do is help others. I realize that when you help others achieve their goals, it actually is a way for you to discover talents that you've had that you didn't even realize that may have been lying dormant for so long. And then you start applying to new jobs, start your own endeavors, bring your business to life. And then once you get some traction, a plan, and a vision, then you can put in your 2 weeks and dip that out of there. See, alignment begins quietly, followed by small executable steps. Key point number 2, move with alignment, not impulse. See, this is a vital key to the series Becoming by Design. Sometimes we find ourselves moving off of impulse instead of a place of alignment and integrity. There's a difference between excitement and alignment. From my perspective, I feel like excitement will lead you to make decisions off sheer impulse. You don't need any facts or anything like that. If you're excited, you're going to make a decision. In the right setting, that decision that you make could appear to be a solid one, like getting a new tattoo or making a big purchase. However, if it's a flight, I sympathize with you. Anytime you book a flight is valid. I don't care. But in the case of you considering a career change or a big purchase, I highly doubt that excitement alone is the only factor that you want to consider. Now, alignment, it's not attractive, but it appears to be more of a steady anchor to any decision that you make. When things are aligned, it feels like it was meant to be. See, the benefits of moving with alignment is that your decisions feel stable. You don't necessarily need constant external validations in order to maintain momentum. When you feel foundationally stable, you can rely on your own curiosity, simplicity that you created, and self-trust in order to make the right or the best decision in that moment. The downside about aligned driven action is that it doesn't always feel exciting. Your new career may require you to go back to school or move back in with your parents in order to save money for your finances to buy a house or a car. There's nothing attractive about piling up more school loans or living with your parents as an adult. But there's a calm feeling in knowing that your decisions are aligned with your goals. And the calm experience can easily be mistaken for self-doubt because we tend to expect something more than what we're actually getting in the moment. Moving in silence and executing with precision will not include an applause or a reward for doing the things that you technically are supposed to be doing. So many of us expect participation awards, trophies for doing what is expected. So if you find yourself constantly seeking praise and external validation or even permission to take the next step, ask yourself, are you quietly diminishing the purpose of the journey that you're on and increasing the pressure for you to constantly perform? Here's a practical example. Before taking action, ask yourself this question. Does this step reflect what I clarified in stillness? Or am I trying to relieve myself from experiencing discomfort? If the action honors your values, it is aligned. Even if it's slow. Let me preface that. Even if it's slow, if the action honors your values, it is aligned. Don't let the speed of progress determine your level of success. All right, now key point number 3. Let action confirm your vision. See, vision becomes stronger when it meets reality. The first aligned step isn't about proving yourself right. It's about fact-checking and learning as you evolve. Vision is stable when your beliefs are not limited. If you ever find yourself plagued with the limiting beliefs, fact-check those beliefs for validity. Then learn from those existing or new truths. The benefit of this is that once you validate your truths, you can follow up with action. Action provides feedback. Feedback sharpens clarity rather than replacing it. The disadvantage of this is that you risk discovering new behavior patterns that require you to make correction. The tricky part when it comes to discovering new behavior patterns is that we can easily confuse them with making adjustments or making a pivot or a huge shift. Adjustments can be viewed as tweaking the formula a little bit in order to execute or maybe extend the timeline for any goal that you're looking to achieve. For me, when I think about pivoting, I think pivoting is changing direction while still maintaining the same momentum. Think about sports. And a shift is a change in your entire business model. As long as you have a clear, decisive vision, your adjustments or pivots or even a shift can still be part of your alignment. So here's a practical example. If your vision involves a new way of working, test it out for 30 days. Observe energy. Observe any form of resistance. Observe and track all signs of growth and failure. Action isn't the opposite of stillness. It's stillness being expressed. So how do these 3 work together? Start small, scale smart. Pretty self-explanatory. Moving with integrity is key to staying in alignment. Let action teach you. Don't allow ego to influence your movements. This is how intention becomes full embodiment. Stillness clarifies what matters most. Vision shows direction. Action should strengthen your self-trust, which I believe stems from curiosity and simplicity. Becoming by design isn't a single decision. It's a rhythm of choices that you've made over time. All right. Story time. There was a time when I thought searching for clarity meant everything had to change immediately. Forget everything that you know, scratch what's on the paper, and start from the beginning. But the most powerful shifts in my life didn't begin with bold announcements or even huge leaps. Or was it sparked by impulsive decisions or discrediting my experiences? They actually began with quiet commitments to myself, to my purpose, to my goals. Learning to hold myself accountable. Learning to create better habits in executing daily routines. Leaning on my experiences, the lessons that I've learned, the curiosities that arise, self-trust. Simplifying what is complicated in front of me. And of course, faith that my decisions are aligned with my purpose. So starting small and scaling smart isn't just mere words. It's a philosophy that I live by. Rarely seeking an applause or even a pat on the back. Usually my small wins or my big wins usually happen when no one's around. I decided a long time ago that whatever goal that I have, be intentional about it. And only focus on internal validations and do not limit any of my beliefs. Understanding when to stay locked in, when to be laser focused on the task at hand in order to just live the life that I desire. And that's how I know that the next steps that I take are aligned. So here's some reflection questions to think about, to sit with. What is the smallest step that you can take this week that honors what you already know? One action. Choose one movement and schedule it. Put it on your calendar, write it on a sticky note. Protect it. And let that be enough for you to take that next step. So this concludes the stillness arc of becoming by design. You've learned how to pause without fear, how to listen without pressure, how to let vision emerge naturally. Now the work becomes, how do you live with it? If this series helped you slow down and take steps forward with intention, share it with someone else who's navigating a similar change. And if you haven't yet, definitely subscribe. Because next, we will step fully into the vision series. Becoming isn't rushed. It's revealed. And then respected. I am your host. Till next time, Naum.
Drunk on a Saturday.